It is once again How to Cake It Tuesday. I'm Yolanda, and this week I caked the one and only Sir Squeeze-A-Lot. I want you to know, I caked you naked. To make my Sir Squeeze-A-Lot cake, I made 6 pounds of my chocolate cake batter. I baked the batter in 4 4-inch square pans and 1 8-inch square pan. For the exact measurements on how I split up my batter, head to howtocakeit.com. I begin by removing all 5 cakes from their pans and leveling them. Then I take my 8-inch square cake and cut it equally into 4 squares. So I now have 8 4-inch squares of cake. Listen, if you don't know who Sir Squeeze-A-Lot is, you haven't been watching How to Cake It.
Boo! Boo!
Jocelyn's booing. Your boos are kind of sweet. That was a really sweet boo. You would never make it as a ghost. This guy is my main squeeze in the kitchen. He is one of my favorite baking tools. I use him to simple syrup all my cakes and lock in moisture. In honor of this video, Sir Squeeze-A-Lot is actually on sale at howtocakeit.com this week. Didn't I tell you? And so is your outfit. You were simple syruping for the simple syrup bottle cake. It was so full circle. Now I'm going to stack 8 layers of cake into 3 separate cakes. I'm going to fill them with Italian meringue buttercream, stacking 3 layers, and then 2 layers. Now I'm gonna chill my 3 little stacked cakes just so that the buttercream will set before I assemble the whole thing. Now I need to add support and shape to each of my 3 cakes. Yes, Sir Squeeze-A-Lot has shape. Don't let his sweater, come on, just lift your sweater up for a minute. Look at those diagonal corners. I cut some custom cake boards to help support this cake. They're basically 4 inches square, and then I cut off all 4 corners to allow for the sculpting that I'm gonna do. I place my first 3-layer cake onto one of my 4-inch cake boards, and then I place another cake board on top of it and simply follow the corner lines of the cake boards, cutting those Sir Squeeze-A-Lot trademark sides. Now I place my second 3-layer cake onto a 4-inch cake board and do the same thing, placing another board on top and following the lines to cut out the corners. For the top cake, which is only 2 layers, I cut off the corners in the same manner, and then I actually took the opportunity to just slightly round the top. The next step is to add dowels to 2 of my cakes. I add 4 dowels that are the right height to each one of my 3-layer cakes in a square formation.
Formation, huh, yo?
Yeah, getting it in there. Dowels are really important for a cake that's going to be as tall as this cake is going to be. They are food safe, they are made for cakes, and before you cut each layer of cake, you just remove them and cut. Now I'm going to sandwich my 3 cakes into 1 cake, but on its side. You got to lay down and relax. I laid each cake on its side and sandwiched them together using a little bit of buttercream as the glue between the top of one cake and the bottom board of the next. The boards allow you to cut your cakes in sections. I'm gonna let Sir Squeeze-A-Lot continue to lay down and relax for now. It's time for me to crumb coat. Get it? Where do I need to put this? On my forehead? I'm gonna crumb coat and chill. The crumb coat and chilling is like his body massage, essentially, right? I'm just massaging a light coating of buttercream with an offset spatula. He's so relaxed, he's not even talking right now. And thank you so much, guys, for snapping up the Crumb Coat and Chill aprons. We naturally had to make a t-shirt, which is now available at howtocakeit.com. And VIPs get a discount on this tee, not to mention they get to see these videos before it goes live to everyone else on YouTube. So make sure to go to howtocakeit.com and sign up to be a VIP. I crumb coat all 3 of the exposed sides as well as the top of Sir Squeeze, and I put him in the fridge to chill. He's in like the hyperbaric chamber now.
This is a high-end spa.
It is, well, please, this is the How to Cake It spa. Now that Sir Squeeze is chilled and even more relaxed, I'm going to ice him, again icing all of the exposed sides and the top, and really keeping in mind his diagonal corners, his beveled corners, because we want all of the edges to be sharp. Once he's iced and I can really see his shape coming together, I chill him again. Now Sir Squeeze-Lot is really chilled. I mean, chilled. So I'm gonna take him out and I'm actually gonna turn him over because there's still like a naked area of cake. I'm sorry. No, I didn't put a towel over you. I'm now gonna crumb coat this naked area of cake, just leaving a smooth surface. Now I need to chill him one more time so that I can flip him back over. This massage day is like a workout for both me and Sir Squeeze-Lot. It's time to cover the 3 perfectly iced sides in fondant. I flip Sir Squeeze back over and then I roll out my white fondant, making sure it's wide enough and long enough to cover Sir Squeeze. And then I just pick it up with my French rolling pin, lay it over Sir Squeeze, and use my fondant smoother to really help smooth out the fondant, keeping in mind, again, those diagonal corners. I then have to trim the fondant that is on the top. So I let it come together and then trim it nice and flush on top. And around the bottom, I trim it just leaving a bit of extra fondant, about 1/4 inch extra. Now I need to flip Sir Squeeze-Lot so that I can fold over my excess fondant and smooth it along the diagonal sides. But crap, his crumb coat ripped off.
Now he's really naked.
Again. I will reapply your crumb coat, Sir Squeeze-Lot, chill out. I mean, you should be chilled out at this point. But first, I gotta focus on fondant. I actually just used a piece of mat board that I had cut to the right height just to help guide my knife, because sometimes it looks like you're going straight and you're not. So I always like to use a guide wherever possible. When I don't have a tall enough ruler, I make a ruler. Now that I have focused on fondant and Sir Squeeze-Lot looks good, I will reapply his crumb coat. Happy now? I roll out a long piece of gum paste that is the proper size to fit on the front of Sir Squeeze. Can't leave him naked any longer. I have another piece of gum paste already rolled out to the same size. I rolled it out previously because I do need it to be set. So I have 2 pieces of gum paste that are the same size, one that is not set and one that is set and dry on the top. Now I'm gonna apply the unset piece of gum paste into the front of Sir Squeeze-Lot where there's an opening and just the crumb coat. I smooth it onto the surface and then I trim away the edges just to keep it sort of flush. I'm laying the sheet of gum paste into this cavity as an alternative to trying to ice it really smooth at this point. Sir Squeeze-Lot's spa day is coming to an end. It's time for him to stand up.
Face the music.
Face the simple syrup, Sir Squeeze-Lot. It's time to add some fondant and build up the back of Sir Squeeze-Lot.
Face the fondant.
Oh yeah, face the fondant. Before Sir Squeeze-Lot faces the fondant, I need to insert one sharpened dowel right down the center. Did it hurt?
That sounds very violent.
That's my like wooden dowel therapy.
This is a messed up spa, I don't know.
Pretty much. I roll out some white fondant, trim it to the approximate size that I need. I spread on some royal icing onto the surface of my gum paste, and then I laid my fondant on, smoothed it, and trimmed up all the seams, using my fondant smoother to really smooth the seams together, all the fondant together. To help my seams disappear even further, I'm going to use a bit of royal icing with a small spatula, and I'm just going to ice over the seams, getting the royal icing into the grooves and smoothing them out.
It's like magic, yo.
Okay, magic. I call it tedious labor, but we'll call it magic.
Magic, tedious labor.
Same thing, same diff.
Same diff.
Now I'm going to return to my other panel of gum paste that I rolled previously and is dry and set, because I have to draw Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's face. Sir Squeeze-a-Lot has a very long, measured face with many features, a lot of lines. I think that's what draws me to him. Speaking of tedious labor, this is going to be tedious and requires patience. So what I did is I took a piece of paper and cut it to the size of my gum paste, and I just drew out for myself Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's lines. This way I can look at it and go slowly and know the measurements of each line. To make Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's lines, I used a red food coloring marker. It actually has two different ends. They're both fairly thin, but one is slightly thinner than the other. If you want to get your own food coloring pen, I will link it up in the description below. Here we are. It's me, a sheet of dried gum paste, a red food coloring marker, and a ruler. It's like my heaven, my tedious, tedious heaven.
Magic!
It's not magic, Jocelyn. Just look at the footage. For the number measurements on Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's front, I just took my time trying to be as neat as I could. And for the little logo at the bottom of Sir Squeeze-a-Lot, I traced a perfect circle around a little round cutter that I had, and then I drew on the, I think it's like, hold on. I think it's like a wine glass and a fork. He likes drinking and eating, like me. I'm gonna put my gum paste panel aside to fully dry before applying it to my cake, and in the meantime, I'm gonna make Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's top. He owes everything to his top, let's get real. I have to do it justice. I made Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's top in 3 parts, basically. First, there's the little rim that's actually on top of the Sir Squeeze-a-Lot bottle. For that, I needed 2 circles. I rolled out some gum paste, cut a circle, and then I rolled some gum paste into a ball and flattened it into a circle so that it would have more rounded edges. I then glued those 2 circles together. The next portion is sort of like the main neck of his top. And what I did is I pressed some gum paste into a circle cutter that I had, making sure to grease the inside so I would be able to get it out. I then cut that gum paste flush to the cutter and let it set up for a bit inside the cutter. For the third piece, which is his spout, I rolled out some gum paste. I used a container of sprinkles I had to make this indent. Then I used a larger circle cutter to cut the spout perfectly and a sharp knife to sort of bevel it because it is smooth. Finally, I used a toothpick to create the spout holes. This is exactly why I love this tool. All those evenly dispersed holes that just shower simple syrup. In fact, if you have ordered a Sir Squeeze-a-Lot, leave a comment below and let me know if you love him as much as I do. And thank you for ordering him. I'm gonna set these aside for now. The drier it is, the easier it will be to add to your cake. It's time to go back to Sir Squeeze-a-Lot's face.
Now what?
Now I have to apply this panel.
Okay.
You
seem upset.
This is what I was doing before I applied it. I could break it, I could smudge the marker. A lot can happen here. I apply a thin layer of royal icing and very carefully pick up my panel and align it on the front. I did it! Wipe those worries away.
I've never heard of people wiping worries away.
Well, now you have. It doesn't work, so don't try it. Now you can see some seams on this cake. So I need to hide that as best I can, and I'm going to use some royal icing. I just put it on up against the gum paste using my spatula to smooth it along all the diagonal edges. I need to let this royal icing dry before I paint Sir Squeeze-A-Lot with a little bit of pearl luster. For the face of Sir Squeeze-A-Lot, I apply my pearl luster dry. I wouldn't dare paint it with wet paint over the marker. For the rest of his body, I dilute the pearl luster with a bit of clear food grade alcohol and paint him with the same brush. I had to differentiate the color of the bottle from the very white top. I'm gonna assemble all the parts of the lid of Sir Squeeze-A-Lot. I use a bit of royal icing to glue all of the pieces together, and then a bit of royal icing to attach it to the top of Sir Squeeze-A-Lot. You looked wonderful.
Do you guys need a moment alone together?
We do. Please subscribe to this channel, and please keep requesting cakes below in the comments. This cake was a request because of you guys, so I wanna hear what's next. Thank you for watching How to Cake It. I'll be back next Tuesday with a new cake in a new video.